When I was in elementary school, I started reading fantasy books like Susan Cooper's The Dark Rising series and Lloyd Alexander's The Chronicles of Prydain. So it was no shocker that when this came along, I was like a moth drawn to a flame. And I was neck deep in fantasy when I discovered this bad boy, Star Frontiers. I grew up on shows like Lost in Space and Space 1999 and Star Trek, so this was definitely in my wheelhouse. And then finally came Gamma World, and I was already all in on movies like The Omega Man, Death Race 2000, and Mad Max. And I didn't really become a DM really until later in life, and I stayed away from running science fiction RPGs. I was afraid my right brain wouldn't understand technological terms, and I'd have a hard time with hard science. Now, since 5e came out in 2014, that gave me the confidence that I could run a science fiction RPG using this system, and that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years with my friends. I've been running Esper Genesis for the past 2 years with my group of friends from back in high school. And listen, if you're new here, my name is Paul and I'll be your DM for a while. I've been playing RPGs for over 30 years and a professional DM as well as a therapeutic game master. And today, I want to give Esper Genesis its due with a walkthrough and show you what I really like about this RPG. And if you're hesitant to try running a science fiction game, maybe Esper Genesis will be for you. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so here we have the Esper Genesis core manual. It is 299 pages, 300 if you count the character sheet in the back. And my hope in flipping through this is that it will ease your mind. If you are reluctant to take on science fiction role-playing games because you feel like, oh, they're too hard, or I don't feel like I can, adequately run it because I don't understand the lingo or the genre, whatever it is. My hope is in flipping through this, because it is 5e compatible, and if you've already played 5e or, Dungeons & Dragons of any kind, or Roll20s, you'll feel better about taking it on maybe because you're seeing that, hey, it's not that much different than maybe what you're already running. Okay, let's flip it open here. Great artwork. I am going to flip through it fast just so you can get a peek, and I'll point out anything significant that will help you and just show you the compatibility factors that will help you be able to run this for yourself if you want. And once again, it's not just about pushing this. This is what I've enjoyed over 2 years. This is what I've enjoyed. You find the game that's going to work for you. There are some other 5e science fiction role-playing games that are compatible with 5e, and I may show some of those. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment down below, and I will go ahead and maybe look at some of those as well. But here's the table of contents. It has all your things: races, classes, personality backgrounds, equipment, starships and space travel, combat, all the things. Great artwork. I'm a big fan of The Expanse, and some of this artwork reminds me of the TV show The Expanse, but it also has that science fantasy kind of thing. This is not a hard science role-playing game. This is more science fantasy, and I think that's helpful, at least for my brain, to process how to run it. One thing it really does well is that it will give you the building blocks of the universe, much like 5e does Forgotten Realms. It will tell you about the world in which you're playing in. Silrain Prime is the heart of the Sorium Accord. The homeworld is orbited by the Bastion, a grand trade hub that houses the Grand Conclave and the Protectorate Army. So that gives you an idea of kind of the universe in a little sentence there. But also, it talks about the energy, what things run on. It does offer quite a bit of that, and I think they've done a really good job. By the way, this is by, I forgot to tell you who the author is. Rich Lescaflair is the author, and once again does a great job of putting this together. It has the same, kind of three aspects. It's got exploration, social interaction, combat. Here's your character creation. You can generate your ability scores, same way. Once again, more great art. And throughout the book, they have, Rich has written, and many, I think, different people have written little articles to give you a peek into the world. And so these little pages here offer you a lot of insight, and I think it's super helpful when you're trying to world build and you're trying to adequately describe to your players, what's going on. Then we have the races, and they're not always one-to-one here. So, there's aspects of each, whether they're fighters or whether they're, do they use wizard powers, that kind of thing. So here's the Ashen Forge. Here's the Bel Air, which I love that that whole outfit there. Looks really, really cool. the Dendus, which is I'm going to say the halfling because I think it says they're not taller than 5 feet. They don't get taller than 5 feet, so I'm going to say maybe halfling, maybe those kind of elements in there. Then you have the Eldori. You have humans. You have the Kesh. You have the Matakai, which is, I think, kind of like Dragonborn, but there's also another. There's more Lizard Man. Maybe there's more Lizard Man, the Matakai, and then there's another one for Dragonborn. We have the Promethean. You have the Valna, which kind of gives me Tabaxi vibes. And then you have your classes. See, they have all the different classes here. They have the Adept, Scion, who channels specific forms of energy through sheer force of will. So it's kind of like psionics there. You have the Cybermancer, channeler who views the world as a system of codes and commands which can be hacked and controlled. You have the Engineer, the Hunter, the Melder, the Sentinel, the Specialist, the Warrior, all with their various pluses. And gives you the levels, much like 5e, gives you how you level up. Let's see, you have the Cybermancer. I think that's kind of cool. That's some cool art there. Let's see, you have the Engineer. You have the Hunter. Let's see, you have the Melder. And, that's a great picture there. You have the Sentinel, which that's kind of like the Dragonborn there. Let's see. This is the Specialist and the Warrior. I think the Warrior's the last one. Yeah. But yeah, all of them, like I said, all very well fleshed out. Has your different, at 3rd level you get this, at 7th level you get that, at 10th level you get this, so it's very similar with 5e. Then you have the personality and backgrounds, lots of great choices there. You have exotic languages that you have. You have the crafter, you have celebrity. Once again, you can roll it up just like you do in 5e. The patrician, the pilot, the professional athlete, the shipper transporter, the techie. Here's how you get your origins, your Esper origins. How did you actually come by getting those powers that you have? Then you have all the equipment. You're selling the loot. It's got all the armor that you have. Weapons tables. Very cool weapons. Let's see. Yeah, then you have all this, equipment, miscellaneous gear. It's pretty good. It gives you all the explanations for these things as well. So if it's a challenge to, so I don't know what that does. This fills you in pretty well here. Expenses. Let's see. You have customization options. So it gives you, multi-classing. It gives you class features. It gives you all the different kinds of things you can do. Gives you lots of great options. Stunt driver, vigilant. Then you have using your ability scores. Advantage, disadvantage. That's contest skills, passive checks. Let's see here. It goes through all the things. And then adventures and exploration. Movement, speed, time. Let's see here. There's some great artwork here. Look at that. Just awesome looking. Love it. Then you have, let's see, you have your attack rolls. Once again, all the lingo is right there, right? It's all the same kind of lingo, just put it in a different environment. And then you have things like underwater combat. Then you have starships and space travel. And it gives you all the different kinds of ships you can use, ship types, how the ships turn, starship combat, something that other companies don't know how to quite do in their books for some reason. I wonder who I could be talking about. Crew maneuvers, damage and repair, sample player ships, and it gives you all the different kind of ships you can have there. Escape from Eos Keldor. I believe this is like one of the first adventures that I played. And the adventure, by the way, the adventures for these, there are some. It seems like they're not supporting the game right now, and I don't know why. I've yet to find out any real information as to why there's not more adventures. I mean, you can homebrew your own, that's fine. I like to use prepared adventures in a lot of ways, and then just kind of, take in what I can from it. But there are 2 paths, and I'll put some links down below that if you're interested in that. Some of it, most of it is well written. There are a few things that are the online maps that they use are not the greatest. I've had to use some other different ones for that. But then you have the Esper powers, and there we go. All like the adept powers, and basically these are your spells done in ranks. And I won't go through all those, but it has a huge section of all the different spells that you can have. Once again, and I think these are done. These are written really well to where it doesn't feel like a spell. It does feel like a power. And so I think that's a pretty cool aspect of this. And we go through, and then you get all the way to the back here, and you have the planetary systems. It gives you the map here. I wish this was a little bit bigger. I'd like to throw this on the table. I bet I can find it probably online somewhere. But basically, it gives you all the planetary systems, where you're going and so forth. And then it gives you the inner colonies, the rim sectors, the rift stations, life in the galaxy, the outer zones, and then gives you the appendix, gives you all the conditions that can happen. And then back here, much like Appendix N from the first edition D&D, it gives you, this is Appendix C, it basically gives you all the books. Let me move this over just a little bit. It gives you all the books that were kind of that are used in designing this. It gives you graphic novels, motion pictures, television, anime, and video games. Some of the motion pictures: Fifth Element, District 9, of course, the Terminator, Stargate, Tron, Star Wars, Gattaca, Dark City, Blade Runner, Minority Report, The Matrix, all very, very cool movies. I mean, that's not bad. If you're designing a RPG with those in mind, you can't really go wrong. Then, of course, the books that you have here, Piers Anthony's Split Infinity. You have Stephen King's The Gunslinger, Larry Niven's Ringworld, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. All right, and that has been the walkthrough of Esper Genesis Core Manual. All right, so that's the walkthrough of Esper Genesis 5e, and my hope is that it has given you confidence that if you don't feel confident in running science fiction role-playing games, that maybe because of its adaptability with 5e and its compatibility with 5e, that maybe that gives you a little bit more confidence. Says, hey, I could run a sci-fi game for my friends. Like I said, I've been running it now for almost 2 years with my guys, and my confidence has built over time. And I think that's what you have to, give yourself some time, that you will build confidence over time as you run different systems, different games, different genres. As you play, give yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up too hard. But I'd love to hear from you. Are you reluctant to run different genres like science fiction because you feel like you can't master the verbiage or the lingo or the world in which it's placed? Is Esper Genesis possibly a solution to maybe reducing some of your stress in running a science fiction game? I'd love to get your comments down below. And if you'd like to see some of my battle reports that I've done after I've played this with my players, well, you can go ahead and click. There's some videos around here. You can check that out and kind of see how I struggled with it a little bit. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for being a part today. If you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button down there. You get videos like this in your inbox on a regular basis. And don't forget, if you really like the video, click that thumbs up button. That tells me you do like the video and you want more of them. So that's it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next video.